Hey, what's up YouTube? We're out here setting up this deadfall weight net trap. Gonna try to catch some birds. So essentially what we've got here is our net, and this is basically just a snare. And you see some bird seed down in the middle. Now it's a little bit complicated the way I got it set up here. So our deadfall weight is right up there, and for safety reasons it hasn't been released yet, so the branch is supporting it. But you can see the rope, the fulcrum's right there, the rope comes down. This is 350 cord. Got a little butterfly loop here so I can tie in this part of the trap, which is the actual net. And essentially all that is a snare, bank line snare, woven through a piece of hockey net, which has been spray painted to look more camouflage. Continuing on from this piece of paracord is a toggle, and you can see it's been shaved down there. And you have a trigger stick, which is just barely touching on the corner of that toggle. Okay. And the top of the toggle, where all the majority of the weight's going to be distributed, is pushing up into the base of this gnarly tree. So there's 2 points of pressure there, one at the top, one at the bottom. And then also the bait stick is touching this rock here. So if anything moves this stick anywhere out of alignment, whether it's down there or over here, it'll come loose, the toggle will fly up, the rock will fall, it'll yank this up, which will then tighten this snare and catch whatever's in this net. This other stick here is a cross stick to help with the dislodging of this main trigger stick. So the birds will naturally have a tendency to try to go right for the bait in the middle. They'll step on this stick or this stick to try to get over it and get in there. This stick will push down on the trigger and it'll dislodge that. And then you can see that I've got it all rocked in so that they can't really stand on the edges and lean in. They have to actually commit and get into the net. And really, if they're standing anywhere in that net, when this thing falls, when the rock falls, when it's triggered, it's gonna constrict around them, completely knot them up and wad it up. It may not even lift it into the air very far, but all it really needs to do is tie the bird up and then snare it in that net, and that'll capture it. So what I'm going to actually do, in case this goes off, I don't intend on actually setting it off. I'm going to put my glove right there to simulate a bird actually standing on it. When I release the deadfall rock, this may go off on its own because it's not fully stable, which is good if you just want it to be barely stable enough. But the last time I did this, it went off on its own. So if it does, we'll get to see what happens to that glove, which will simulate the bird. So let's go ahead and try to put this rock into place here. A lot of tension on that. That's a 25, 30 pound rock right there. There are some safety issues here. Clearly you can be injured by the rock, or you can be injured by that toggle flying up and hitting you in the eye or the mouth. Put sunglasses on or safety glasses, close your mouth, and you won't get hurt. I also have a piece of real slick plastic up here, which is Gorilla taped on. That's going to help with the for this to slide so it doesn't get caught up on this gnarly branch. It'll give it a nice frictionless slide. You can see how I have that rock tied there. Just a loop around there with the 350 cord. It'll drop right here into this slot, lay right there. This thing will be lifted up to about here probably. So what you want to do when you set these is just sit with them a minute, because all that pressure is just starting to, and tension is working its way through the line, working its way into the toggle, working its way into the bait stick, every point of contact. And slowly, very slowly, that can dislodge itself. Typically, if after several minutes it doesn't go off, you have a pretty good chance that it won't go off for a while at least. With wind and just time, yeah, it can go off by itself, but you obviously don't want it to go off before it's triggered by an animal. So I'm going to take that off there. And so we have a live set. See the rock just hanging there? Now ideally you want the rock to be as high up as possible so that it pulls this thing up as far as possible. That would be more important for a snare. With a net trap, the only real purpose you need is not to hoist the bird or the animal up in the air, but to yank this enough to where the net closes over them. So that's what we've got going there. This other piece of bank line is just another snare I had. But another thing about this trap is you can tie, if I had another one of these, I could do multiples. I could tie other snares into that. And it only takes, one of those getting triggered. You only need one trigger stick, because if something gets snared, it's going to yank that hard enough, or it's going to work its way around, fall in the trigger stick anyways, and it's going to trigger both of them. So you only need one trigger device, but you could set up multiple snares off there, multiple net traps. This is a very tight, brushed in area, so it's hard to do that, but that's possible. And you can see that the birds are going to come up from that area, work their way down here. They're going to be funneled right to where the bait is, right into the middle of the net. So I'm going to probably set some more traps around this area. This is a really good area. And I just heard some quails over there earlier, so they know there's food here. And they'll be back tonight. And we'll check it tomorrow, hopefully have one. Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.